This video is the first of 3 videos dealing with the over 65 circle penetrations during the group stages at the 2024 World Cup in Cape Town. There is a PowerPoint presentation which sets out the attacking circle penetrations in short corners. These are the clips recorded here. This video deals with situations where we have failed to capitalise on the possession, so we should be looking to do things a little differently in similar circumstances in the future. This could be making a different decision or simply working on our passing and first touch skills. The second video will deal with situations where I believe we've taken the wrong option to shoot or where we were just unlucky with the decisions made by either the opposition or the umpire. The third video deals with situations where I believe we've taken the right option. The outcome is that we get a good shot off, win a short corner, or score. Cliff breaks away from his own half. It's a pity that Richard was not a bit closer, as a good pass would have sent him through. He brings it under control and attempts to find Cliff arriving at the far post. I think Cliff would have been better off on the keeper's pads in this situation. Richard, who has his head down, tries to crash a ball which goes the wrong side of Cliff and off the pitch. The ball to Martin, who has his head up, might have been a better option. Richard crashes it towards Cliff, who's moving forward to the right of the flick spot, but he cannot get a touch on the bouncing ball. Budgie looks a much higher percentage option. A quick free, the defence go to Robert, who finds Cliff very wide. Poor first touch, followed by a mishit crash. Andy is in a great supporting position. Fast break, Robert beats a couple of men. He hits it into the circle, but to no one, and it goes over the baseline. Budgie had made a good lead into the circle. We have them on the ropes. They cannot get any possession. We need to play this in. The crash ball goes harmless across the circle and they get the chance to regroup. Richard crashes us in, even though Keith and Budgie are free. Robert tries to crash this to Richard. We need to show patience in these situations. The pass is easily picked. We have a free in a good position and plenty of time to get set up. Then everyone wants the ball, so we close up all the space. It ends up with Richard dribbling away from the circle and then crashing the ball, which is picked off by them. Again, we need to be more patient. Richard intercepts and dribbles. He attempts to find Budgie, but the pass is poor and the keeper clears. Again, Cliff finds himself free. Unfortunately, neither Jimmy nor David stay for the back and around ball. Cliff ends up attempting a longish pass to Alan. The ball is intercepted. Look at the space there is for Roger to go back and around. He passes it back into the corner and Richard's first time pass is easily picked. Henry dives in, gives him a head out. Poor play all round. David plays this back to Richard. Only Henry of the forward has moved to the desired position. Just look how crowded we make the top of the circle. The forwards get into a great triangle. Jimmy to Richard, who plays it first time. Cliff has gone too early, so his man gets in front. It goes to the far post, but Henry doesn't get around his defender, who clears. Robert wins a tackle and the ball breaks to Henry. He drops it back to Robert, whose first time hit towards Budgie is not accurate and the defender has it. Surely a stop and accurate pass was the play. Good switch of play from Martin and good timing of the run by Jimmy. Andy reacts first to the free. Good ball back to Jimmy, who unfortunately narrows his angle and then tries to force the ball into the circle. Look at where their numbers are. Back and around is the way to go. We win the ball with a good W. And we move forward quickly. Unfortunately, Henry has a poor first touch. He needed to reset. Look at Jimmy. Henry tries to force it in and is intercepted. William attempts to crash a long free towards Budgie, who's coming into the circle. Initially deflected by the defender, but the keeper kicks clear. Too much traffic for that one to work. Keith dribbles in from the wing and attempts to find Cliff in traffic. The defender deflects it for a long corner. The ball has been moved from the D channel back and around and up into A6. William makes a good lead but ends up crashing in the ball, which is deflected away for an Ireland line ball. Martin was free behind. We move the ball from one side to the other, finding Jimmy in acres of space. Jimmy should have driven in and drawn a foul, but tries to find Budgie and the ball is deflected for a long. A long is passed back to Eddie. Robert is the ball, but Eddie just crashes it into the circle. We get another long. This is a very patient build-up by us. Good pick-up here from Cliff. When Robert gets the ball, he should be looking to switch play, but gives it back to Budgie, who crashes it towards Cliff, who cannot control it. They bring it away and relieve pressure by hitting it into A1. We hit the ball into the corner after their second goal. A good W recovers the ball. The ball gets to Andy, who plays it first time into William. He pushes it past the defender, but bundles into him. Umpire gives a free out. Again, a patient build-up. Keith drives down the E channel into the circle. He appeals for a short corner, but the umpire gives a head out. Budgie dribbles into the circle. Perhaps he was fouled, but he mishandles and the ball goes over the baseline. Robert self-passes, but heads out towards the touchline. Dave is in a great supporting position, but Robert crashes it into the circle. Cliff does well to keep this in and gets it back to Andy. He dribbles towards the circle, finds Richard, who cannot win the corner. Here Keith drives towards the circle. He makes a last minute reverse stick pass to Andy, who doesn't allow it to come across his body, so ends up passing it back out of the circle. It's that old first touch again. Budgie makes a tackle here. Ball pops into the circle, but over the baseline. Here Keith sets off on a dribble across the pitch and will feed it into Richard, whose first touch lets him down and the keeper kicks it clear. Budgie dribbles across to 25 and finds Henry, who makes a great lead onto the baseline. His first touch isn't great. By the time he gets it under control, he's closed down and loses possession. We need to work on that first touch. Carl makes a great run into space, but Richard crashes the ball for Robert. Miscontrol takes it into the circle behind his defender, but the second defender clears it. Andy plays the free back to Jimmy. He has Martin free, but tries to force it into the circle, and a bouncing ball cannot be controlled by Richard. Roger should have attacked the top of the circle, but he lets it go wider. He then has two choices, but feeds it to Cliff. Cliff's back pass leaves the circle. Roger then tries to force the ball back into the circle. Eventually the ball falls to Cliff, who hits it first time from the baseline. Good pass here from Jimmy and a good first time layoff from Richard. Henry shields the ball well and gets into the circle, but loses control right at the end. Good switch of play and a good pass from Roger to Sean, who is very wide. Henry makes a good lead and the ball is passed in. Unfortunately, Henry cannot control it and Andy cannot get to the loose ball. Couple of simple passes here and we get in. Good to see the forwards in a triangle shape, although Henry is a bit far away. Budgie dribbles in and tries a reverse stick pass, but it rolls off the pitch.